TJB. Tommaso.
What's up, man? How's it going, Cart?
What's up, buddy? So we met on the set of a movie.
Yeah, newspaper.
Do you remember which movie that was?
Newspaper or the paper or whatever with Tom Hanks.
The newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was called The Post.
The Post.
The Post.
Yeah, The Post
With Tom Hanks.
with the Hanks, and it was his birthday the day we worked with him.
It was his birthday.
Yeah.
Did you get him anything?
I got him a happy birthday.
Did you get him?
And he went
Thomas J. Balloonzo.
Balloonzo. That's actually very close to the original phonetical spelling. 283, is it the 283rd episode, or is it the 83rd episode of season 2?
No, it is the 283rd episode of the podcast.
That means you've done 282 episodes before me.
Well,
you still haven't gotten a good camera.
No, this is a pretty decent camera.
As it looks like I need my glasses.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm too bright. Maybe I got to turn my light down or something.
Turn it down. What, you want to leave, puppy? Go ahead, dog. Get out of here. All right, good boy. I got cats, dogs, humans. At least I don't have kids. Ugh, that makes me the happiest man in the world. People always like, don't say that. What about people who can't have kids? Well, then I should be dating them.
Yeah, kids. I'm pretty excited about not having those also.
Yeah, they get in the way of like life.
Dude, like I like kids. Like I can have a good time hanging around and giving noogies and whatever, but
just don't give your age.
What's that?
You're like, I like hanging around kids.
Yeah, dude. Like I love playing and joking and being a good uncle. Like I like, I like hanging out with family members, like my cousins' kids and stuff. That's always fun. But like, I don't want any of my own. Nope.
I like to say goodbye to him. Is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like, he's always being a little problem. Here you go. He seems to be having a little dirty diaper. Here you go. You clean that.
This one smells. No, really. He has a nose. He can definitely smell things. He's not my type. C4. Does that explode in your mouth?
In my guts.
I drink Diet Cherry Pepsi to slowly kill myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm working on that. I set out these explosions.
Like, I don't want to die, but since I'm going to die one day, I'm like, I might as well enjoy the taste in my mouth. People was like, you shouldn't drink that. You're not it's gonna shorten your life. I go, first of all, who wants to live until they're so old they can't walk?
And what is living to 97 years old if you can't enjoy a diet cherry cola every once in a while?
Yeah. Like my dad says, if you can make it to 50, you've seen everything.
Well, how close to 50 are you now?
Too close. I'm closer than I should be. Not far enough to be scared. No, I'm 45 next year, so I'm halfway from 40 to there, which is pretty interesting. I think I'll make it to 50, and then I'll just, my sex life will be over.
Is that what it ends?
Well, I tell kids all the time. I go, look, you're in your teens to 20s. You're like, hey, let's go Netflix and chill. But you're really there just to chill on each other, right? But when you hit 30, like the 30, you go, well, maybe we could just finish the episode, right? And then when you hit 40, you go, hey, I'm watching a show. And once 50 comes, you never do again.
Is it like the optional face or Netflix and chill? It's like, okay, I'm watching this. If you want to come over and chill, I'll be watching it anyway.
Yeah. At 40, you're like, I'm watching TV, and if maybe you want to chill, come and watch Netflix.
So,
Good.
bro, I mean,
what's up?
I did have you on the podcast a couple of years ago. Like, I guess, what was it, 2017 or 18 or something like that?
Jesus, was it that long ago?
Yeah. So,
I guess it was. Yeah, it was.
I mean, lots has probably changed since then.
Yeah. I lost both legs.
So does that chair that I'm confused about that chair.
With my dildo chair? No, this is a wheelchair.
Yeah. Okay. It's got wheels on.
It has wheels. No, I
what
have
are you
my
pushing
legs.
it around with?
The wheels.
Just my arms.
Yeah, the wheels reduce the resistance of pushback math.
It picks up on the signals that I would be sending to my legs if they were there.
Yeah, I have phantom legs. I feel them because they're there. A couple of things changed. You have a new background, and I have a new background, so that's pretty exciting. You know? That the show could end there, and it would feel like an accomplishment.
Have you gotten up on stage at all lately?
The last time I got on stage was 2017 with music, and then COVID hit. I was doing my networking events. I was doing all that stuff. I was working on some movies. We were about to film something, and COVID hit and just ruined everything.
Well, it's over now, so get back to it.
Well, yeah, but now it's like I don't live in New York anymore.
Where do you live now?
I live in Ohio.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's terrible. No, it's good. It's good. I'm going back to New York, but I'm just.
So when going back to New York, is that when you're going to pick back up on filming stuff and like music and comedy?
Well, here I'm going to start doing comedy again soon. I'm actually going to a club this Saturday to check it out because my friend is performing, but she's from New York, so I was like, oh, that's a great excuse.
Yeah.
To be like, well, I got to go there anyway, right? So I'll see how that goes. When I go back to New York, though, I don't know if you saw on social media or follow my newsletter, but Team Rise Together. I started that in 2013, and the beginning of this year of 2022, I officially made it a nonprofit, which is nice. And that means that we'll be getting into not just film, but working with comedians, musicians, you name it. Anyone who's in the entertainment industry, wrestlers if they want, like yourself. And all it is just a place that provides free resources for people to learn the business, help them with contracts, help them understand how to run their life like a business.
Rise together.
Yeah, Team Rise Together. Work, grow, and rise together. So it's all about creating community. And what's nice about it is it has a merit system. So the more you get involved and the more you help others within Team Rise Together, the more benefits you get. So that's always pretty exciting, So we'll see how that goes once I get back to New York, and and we're also going to film projects and stuff. And there's a studio,
kind of like the ideal goal for Rise Together, Team Rise Together, is just to build that like merit system up.
Well, Team Rise, the main goal, Team Rise Together.
All rise together.
Well, yeah, but it's to find a selfless group of individuals willing to work together. But the thing is, it's also an ownership project, concept where any project we work on, like let's say you work on the project, let's say it's a comedy show, and you're on that comedy show, and we film it. You own points in that project, so everyone involved owns portions of anything they work on. And then the other thing is we're going to work to make everybody get paid exactly the same. So they get a flat rate for working on certain things, and then they have ownership in it. And every time it makes money, you get money as an owner.
I like money.
What? You like money?
I like money.
Who
Give,
doesn't like money?
okay,
But
you like money too? We should hang out.
yeah, you like money? Let's play poker. The only thing that's like in the beginning when you join, you don't have any merit, so you have to pay for your membership. And the more merit you gain, the less your membership is until your membership is free. And our hope is that you help others so much, that you get involved so much that you don't pay for the membership. So paying for the membership or not paying for the membership, you still get all the bonuses. You get to meet the people. We're gonna have, successful people come in and speak. It's gonna be pretty exciting. But the difference is we want to reward those who give their time and help others, because that's really our mission, is to bring people together and weed out the selfish people. But like if you just want to be there for the benefit, pay your X amount of dollars for the year and call it a day.
I mean, I know I've seen it like in real time, both on my end and on your end. Like the people want to sign up for the thing to like get the help, but then they don't want to listen to, like they already have their idea of what they want the thing. And the system seems set up where it's like, okay, well, if you want to not listen to the people who have the good ideas who are going to help you rise, just pay the price of the membership.
Correct. Yeah, because we don't judge anyone. If you know how to do it and you just want to have the benefit of meeting people and having the resources at your hand to, our goal is to obviously open up a facility, and you could come in, use the studio. You could come in, you get to sit in on the meetings where we get to do interviews with famous people. You get all that, but you just pay. You could even work on projects. It's just you can't if you don't pay.
Hey, I'm good at interviewing people sometimes,
Well, show me.
Sometimes.
Not today, though. I'm not warmed up. I've only done 282 shows before this.
What
do you mean talk into the mic? No. Where is Mike? No, the microphone. Oh, that's what that's code for. No.
So, you've done tons of shows, done tons of podcasts. You've been on lots of stuff. And one thing I always ask is, what's one thing that you've never been asked on any of these interviews or any of these podcasts that you've wanted to be asked and never have been?
Oh, I don't really think about it like that. Like I want to. My thing is actually, honestly, I hate questions. From my music days, from when I started back in '97 doing music, I hate questions because they're so poorly asked. My least favorite question in the world, though, is whatever it is you do. Let's say music, comedy, whatever. If it's music, they go, "So what got you into music or comedy? So why do you do comedy?" Right? And you're just like, "Come on, ask me a real question." I prefer conversation. That's to answer your question. The one question I wish I've gotten from people is a conversation, but they have like, "Oh, all right. So let me look at my let's see. I got my I have to ask you."
It's like, all right, I did the very general Googling of you, and I saw the very vague, very broad shit, and I'm going to ask you about that stuff. Like, I feel like that's any interview anyone's ever tried to get me to agree to do.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, I'm like, anybody could listen to anything else I've ever done and find out any of those things. And anybody could at any moment jump into my DMs and ask me those questions, and I'd answer them.
That's true.
It's really like, give me something newer and better and more original, and something that, like, if I was listening to it, I'd want to hear this.
Yeah.
Like, that's like my main thing, like why I wanted to do anything I've ever wanted to do, because if I was somebody consuming the content that I'm putting out, I'd want to consume that type of content.
Yeah.
And not like something like I have to say, man, I've done so many podcasts where people are like, tell me about your first match. Tell me.
I don't smoke. No, all right.
Right. My first match, like the one I struck to light that first house up.
I burnt my finger on my first match.
Yeah, there you go.
Wrestling matches, though, what's interesting about that is, it's 100% real as far as the athleticism, but it's 1,000% fake as far as story goes. All right. But no one ever says that to actors. Like no one goes to Keanu Reeves and goes, it's really great you did that movie, but we all know it's fake. Right? But they're very comfortable going, I love that fight scene where it was gun fu and you killed like 13 people, and it's like he didn't kill anybody. It was literally fake. But like for wrestlers, they have to deal with wrestling's fake, and you're like, yes, it's as fake as any entertainment, but the action of doing it is real. But I've always found it intriguing that they don't bother actors. Like no one goes to Angelina Jolie and be like, I can't believe you saved the world
when you ran up that wall. Oh my God. Yeah, how'd you learn to do that?
Mr. and Mrs. Smith, weren't you scared coming down that thing after you murdered the guy? And did the cops ever come to you when they murdered? I mean, you killed that person. No. It's acting. That's acting.
Well, like something I say a lot, and stop me if you've heard me say it before, but
I have.
People will say, like, what's it like? People will ask me what's it like, and I'm like, imagine like the pay scale of a cover band act, but like
$750 a match.
But like the cover band probably gets more money and also gets more respect, and people go, "Wow, that's talent." And what I'm doing is phony blocking.
Like, yeah.
Like, so it's like.
Well, dude, have you ever thought about using real wood blocks and not phony blocks?
It's like dude, the pain is real. The bumps and the bruises and the scars are all real. I can't take any of that stuff back, and it's just to like dismiss it and go like, oh well, that's all of it is phony. When it's like, nah, bro, I really committed 20 years to my life to this right now. Are you calling me fake? Because I'm not fake. Like, I had to get trained to really hurt people, right?
Like, yeah. Really hurt people while not hurting anyone.
But I had to get shown how it would be done as a shoot and how it would be done to work it. That was the way I was taught. So I for sure know how to do everything where I could actually.
Oh yeah, pile drive will break someone's neck.
Yeah.
If you don't hold their head a couple inches in your legs, the thing though,
it'll drive them into a pile.
Yeah. They'll just
they will be a pile.
Steve Austin,
a driven pile. That's where the name comes from.
I know.
I had no idea.
You didn't. Jesus, these moves. It's like Houdini all over again. Because he wrestled. I don't know if you know.
I didn't know. Was Houdini a wrestler?
No. Well, I'm sure there was a Houdini wrestler, but Houdini the magician, he had a wrestler's body. Now, as I interview,
please interview me.
Please. What's your least favorite? All right. The thing though with people asking you about wrestling is that they really have this fantasy that they wish they could do it, and they feel they can do it because it's fake in their mind. But just like acting or comedy, you cannot just go up there and know what you're doing. Yeah. However, you can go up there and do it. It might be good, it might be bad, but you won't understand what you are doing. And I've seen actors come in and I'm like, man, have you ever had training? They're like, no. And I'm like, you're natural. You know what you're doing. But they don't know how to do what they're doing. They just do it. And I've seen comedians where they're just natural, but they don't understand what they're doing. So they can't improve until they understand the process. And the same thing with wrestling, But have you ever gone on the top rope? at your age, and like you get up there and you see in the crowd and the person you got to jump on, and you're just like, yeah, I don't think I want to do this again. maybe,
I actually,
maybe
I actually,
all my moves are on the map.
I actually, I actually did a ladder match this Saturday, and I was up on the top of the ladder.
Jesus.
So, yeah, I mean, I have been on the top rope at my age. I've been above the top rope at my age as well.
Have you felt though like maybe I should just Chris Jericho it and just do my 7 moves, call it a day?
No, dude.
Not that I'm because Chris Jericho was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up. So
Diss on Jericho. Diss on maybe
this.
maybe Chris Jericho will see this clip and retweet it. And
No, I doubt it.
we were. What'd you say?
I said no. I actually opened up for Chris Jericho
Oh yeah,
for Fozzy. Yeah, and
cool.
there's a funny moment was in the backstage. Everyone at that show, and by the way, I'm obviously it's a hyperbole. Everyone, and the great majority of the audience at that show was there to see the wrestler Chris Jericho, not the band Fozzy,
Right.
because they all had their like wrestling paraphernalia,
wrestling shirts and stuff.
well, the sign this stuff, the paraphernalia.
They had their belts with them. Their replica belts.
Like, right? Y2K. And so they come back, and there's this one girl, and she's like, "Oh, Chris Jericho, can you sign that? Can you sign my?" And he's signing it. I'm standing next to him because we're in the back room. And I go, "I believe you're spelling your name incorrectly. It's Moon Goose McQueen." Because for Fozzy,
because that was his name in Fozzy.
Yeah.
I had that VHS tape. I mean,
the one where they're like explaining how they finally are able to leave Europe.
Yeah, dude, I was always my whole life a humongous Chris Jericho fan. Like I would say for the majority of my days would say that Jericho was like my favorite wrestler, like number one top favorite wrestler.
And then he left WCW, and I was like, this
motherfucker. And it's just he inspired me in a lot of ways to go like, well, like he wanted to be a wrestler, and then he was, and then he wanted to do a podcast. He did it. He wanted to be in music. He did it. Like
he was in music first,
right? Exactly. I'm just saying in no particular order. I'm just saying these as feats. He wanted to be an author. He did it the best. His books were my favorite. Like
his books were just the history of wrestling, like his life in wrestling, or they were like
autobiographical. Like the first 3 were autobiographical, and then like the 4th one, or I lost out on whatever one is like the thing is like success is a 4-letter word or whatever, failure is a 4-letter word. That's what's like the name of the book.
Yeah.
I didn't finish it because it was like more of like a trying to be like a self-help book or something.
Yeah. Like, so you're not going to read my next book that's coming out.
Is it going to be a self-help book?
It is a self-help book. Yeah. It's actually the Bible. It's
you jumbled it up.
I took everything that I've been teaching for like 20 years and I just put it into one book, and it's right now it's called Breaking Down Success. But I speak and I do all these speaking engagements and I help people. I consult, and I kind of want to move out of that in my life. So I'm writing this book sort of as like I don't really want to do it anymore. But if anyone asks me, and I'm like, I believe in you, because I'm doing the Team Rise Together thing, and to me it is consulting, but it's free consult. It's just me speaking, It's,
bro, like I feel like you've been a consultant this whole time. Like,
well, I have, since
kind of like your whole gimmick.
Well, 2010,
This is my gimmick, brother.
Yeah, brother, these pythons. Oh yeah. Okay. What is going on? Okay, so I took consulting seriously in 2010, and I built my my quote unquote empire, my business. Before that, I was very much in entertainment, and people would ask me, "How are you blank blank blank?" And I would tell them. And then one day, I was just sick of just giving my time, so I was like, "You'll have to pay this," and they were like, "Yes," and I was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Okay, I will teach you." And then I found myself. This is weird. Before I asked for money, I felt like I was being taken advantage of. And then once I started asking for money, I didn't want to charge a lot because I enjoyed teaching people and seeing them improve. So my rates are so ridiculously low that people are like, how do you make money? I go, I made money because I know how money I'm like. I invested. I saved my money. Like I organized my money from music. Like I basically retired at 27. Like
Mhm.
you know, 27, 29 ish, that time period. And they're
Mhm.
like, oh, so you don't? I go, no, I don't need the money, but I don't want someone to hire me for zero because I want them to feel like they're putting a little
Yeah.
worth in.
Like they're
But
investing in their
yeah,
own future.
yeah, because there is a big difference between like, say you were like, hey Tom, can you give me some advice, and I give it to you, and you're like, that's great. Versus you're like, all right, I'm paying for this. This time is valuable. Let me get my notes. I'm gonna pay attention. And there's a little bit more. There's a serious element to it. Um, but I still charge such ridiculous. They sometimes are like, I know I'm not going to be able to afford you, and I go, well, these are my rates, and they go, what? I go, yeah, However, I do. I've always been a writer, so that's where I make a lot of my income now. Is probably since 2016 ish. I've been making good money on writing because people hire me to write, or they hire me to consult their stories. Like I do narrative consulting, or story structure, or I just write the thing for them, either a script or a book or whatever it is.
That's also why I'm because I know that that's why I'm also excited about you going back to New York and making films and stuff, because like the writing will probably be chef's kiss. It'll be
I
some
hope
good
so.
stuff.
Well, I wrote this play. This is how I knew I should be a writer, even though I've been writing since I was a child because I started in comic books. And but I was always told you can't be a writer because I couldn't spell. They didn't have spell check when I was young. Uh, and now I'm like, writers write, editors edit. Okay. So I mean, I could obviously spell now. I'm not 17. When
I can't.
But there's
I
nothing
am
wrong with not
17.
being able to spell. Yeah.
What's wrong with being 17?
Yeah. So I spell red, and I read. What's the deal? No, all right. So living live. Who doesn't get that mixed up? So the thing is with
How
writing.
come the same words mean the same thing sometimes? The word impression and the word impersonation are the same. If you do an impersonation of a guy and you do an impression of a guy, you're doing the same thing.
No, one goes into dough and the other is physical. All right. Anyway, you're making an impression. Anyway,
I get it. I understand.
I'm telling the audience.
Oh. One is a cookie cutter
Yeah.
that's making an impression.
And the other is just my career going down the stairs. No, I wrote this. I think you remember. I owned the theater for 3 years. The Rose Theater. I probably mentioned it, but
I don't remember. Sorry.
so during that time, I was teaching a free writing class. Again, like as you can see, I like to give my time because I want to see people succeed. And I had anywhere from 20 to 50 people in that class, depending on the week. But it was every Wednesday. And someone was like, hey, how can you're always teaching us to write, do you have anything? And I was like, well, I have this play that I wrote, but it was like my first play. And they're like, you should do it. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, well, I have a theater, so I don't have to, it's not like I'm going to lose money really. So I did the play and it got on the news, and I didn't ask, I did it low key. Like I didn't advertise it because, it was my first play. So I was like, it needs work. And people would come into the play that I didn't know because I didn't advertise it. They just came to the theater because, it was on the website.
Were you doing your newsletters back then?
No. And
it was free newsletters.
It was pre-newsletter. This was 2000.
How many people get those?
I have like 8,000 people on there.
That's a lot, man.
Yeah, well, you collect names over the years. Only 2 people open it up, so it's worth it. No. So anyway, I did this play, and the news came and asked me if they could do an interview on me. And then the people that were coming, they were crying, and and then they would come the next week with new people with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'd
be
like,
to draw.
Yeah. And, they'd be like, who wrote this? And I'd be like, oh, I did, because I would come out after, because I performed in it too. I was the, not the lead, but the supporting actor, which is interesting because you'd be like, oh, I wrote it and directed it. I should be the lead, No,
yeah, you put yourself over, bro.
Yeah. No.
Get yourself over.
No, I was like, let me get this other guy to do it.
Mhm.
And so I did it, and they're like, you wrote it? And I go, yeah. And they go, but you're white. And I was like, and and the play was about interracial relationships and like the 60s and like all that, and it was pretty heavy topics. So I was after that I decided to make it a movie. That was the movie I was going to film before COVID hit, and I had all the actors, I had everything in place, I had the money, and we did like table reads, and people were crying at the table reads. So I knew it had some weight to it. Uh, I knew if anything, people were going to at least enjoy watching it, and it's just two people in one main scene, like one open apartment area, and people were like, "This, no one's gonna enjoy this." Like before, people did the table read and stuff. They're like, "It's just two people talking," and they're just like, "Ooh, what the fuck," like, and they're like, "What that? Is that true?" Like they were so engulfed in the conversation,
Yeah.
and the there's pushback and there's argument, there's so. Uh, I do, but I also write stupid. I write silly things, and I write.
Well, like I know you, so I know you've gotta.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
like I've had conversations with you. I know that it goes to the silly Billy committee over here for a couple
exactly.
minutes.
You need silly billiness, or what's the point in life?
You need silly Billiness.
You need it. But I'm a stand up, so
Mhm.
obviously it's gonna be. But I also don't like jokes in stories. I like funniness in stories, and I think there's a big
Yeah,
difference.
yeah, I get what you're saying because sometimes, especially like if you write jokes in like a script format, right?
Yeah,
And then I I remember I wrote some jokes for this short film that we made like in 2011, and I remember watching the screenings of it and being like, that joke didn't land the way I wanted it to land. And I'm like, the guy didn't really pull it off the way I wanted him to
yeah.
pull it off. I'm automatically blaming everybody but me.
Well,
Ah,
performances are like if there's a joke and they're like, yes, because there was lots of bananas, and it's just like, no, he's supposed to be emphasizing.
yeah.
That I think that's the hardest part about being a writer is
Mhm.
you write with intention, and then if the director, but again, is that on you that it wasn't clear, and the
Right.
director doesn't redirect the actor to hit that
Right. Maybe there
intention?
should have been screen direction.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
there should have been
you're
paren-
told never to do that. Don't. It's not.
parentheses,
Yeah, the parentheticals,
parenthetical.
the parentheticals. Angry, humorist,
Right. Right.
sarcastic, small penis.
Uh,
So,
say you just say, talk to the writer about how to deliver this line.
well, I have had directors go. They would talk to me. They go, maybe we should remove this because it doesn't make any sense. And then I'd be like, ba 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 ba, and they go, oh, that is needed. I was like, yeah. What? And they're like, yeah, but that's not what you're not. Why don't we literally say that? I go, but then it's not subtext.
Right.
And if it's not subtext, it's poor writing
Right.
because
But it's like very like here it all is. Let's dumb it all down for all the dummies who won't understand it.
well, imagine watching a movie, right? And the conflict is this: Corey, I do not like you because you slept with my sister. And then your response is just literally, well, I did not mean to sleep with her in a way that would upset you. It was just very convenient for us. Right. And like, that's terrible writing, but that conflict is interesting, you know? And let me let the doggy out. Go ahead, Pupper. Go ahead. That conflict is interesting. And now here we go. So the conflict would really be watching you in that moment with the sister, not wanting to, but then kind of falling into that moment and you end up sleeping together. Now I have to find out. But once I find out, the audience knows I found out, but you don't know I found out. And
Mm.
now we interact, and the conflict is you don't know that I know. And you go, hey, Tom, why don't you come over for a barbecue? And I'm like, yeah, I guess I could try to get there. And you're like, wait, we're like best friends. Why is he kind of like, he should be like, yeah, bro. Like now you have that moment where you're like, does he know? Does he not know?
Mm.
But you don't know.
Mhm.
right? And imagine a director goes, yeah, but I don't understand. Why doesn't he want to go to the barbecue? They're best friends. And it's like, because he knows that he slept with him. Oh, well, why doesn't he say something about it? Because, first of all, story. Let me tell the audience something real quick.
Please, I'm gonna cross my legs in a listening manner,
Right?
and I'll put my hand here on my
You're
on
the
my.
listening man.
Mhm.
Uh, so in story, sometimes when you find yourself bored, it's usually because things are happening, but nothing is happening. And what I mean by that is things have to happen, so they're just letting it happen, and there's no conflict or drama or tension. And you have to challenge information. So presenting the fact that you slept with the sister in that story, the challenge is, do I know or do I not know? I do know. Okay, great. I'm going to challenge that now. Now that I know, do I know and I let you know or I don't let you know? And in this situation, I'm choosing not to let you know that I know. Right. And you just keep doing that. And you could go either way. It doesn't matter. You could write a whole story with all these choices and then go back and say, well, let me change this one challenge. And that's how you create intriguing story. Now, obviously, there's good writing and then there's great writing. And great writing comes from understanding the rules enough to break them. Good writing is utilizing the rules, but you can be a poor writer, meaning like I'm using all the rules, but you're not saying anything. There's no substance to what you're saying. And that's probably the hardest part for me as a writer, watching stuff or reading stuff, and is you're just like, why are things just happening? Like, let someone fail, let someone feel something. That's why I hate Mary Sue's and Gary Stu's are like, they're
Mary Sue's and Gary Stews.
so a Mary Sue is basically for layman's version, it's an unaffected female character that not only is highly capable without explanation, but has no cannot be beaten. Basically, is perfect. And a Gary Stu would be the male version of that. So Ray from the Star Wars sequels is a Mary Sue, and then I can't really think of any Gary Stews because usually guys, like for example in The Witcher, he falters, he gets wounded, he gets hurt, he almost can die. However, in the ordinary world section of the story, which is usually the beginning of any story, he's highly capable because we need to know what he's capable of, so he has his limitations. However, once the inciting incident happens and we're doing a rising conflict and we hit the conflict, we cannot introduce new information from the descending conflict. We can't be like, well, he also has this power, because now you're introducing the Deus Ex Machina factor. So, knowing your stories is important. Knowing your tools is important, but also at the same time, introduce conflict. So if you're dealing with a Mary Sue or a Gary Stu,
Can we just make a movie about a Mary Sue and a Gary Stew? Like when Gary Stew met Larry Moo or whatever.
Mary Sue and Gary, that'd be funny. And
When
they're just perfect. They're just
when
like,
Mary met Gary.
yeah, hi, I like you. I like you. We should be together. Yes, we should.
There's
Married.
no explainable reason for why we should be together, but yes, let's just absolutely do it.
Just works. I like carrots. I like carrots. This is my favorite movie. It's my favorite movie. Oh my God, we're being robbed. That's okay. I know martial arts. I know martial arts. Martial arts shows up. I'm ready to fight for you. All right. Anyway,
Martial art. Prepare.
martial arts reporting for duty, sir. But yeah. So I think that for me, you can really crap a movie out when it's just like, we need to get person A to person D. I mean, person A from point A to point B, and they need to know things. And
I have ideas. I have lots of ideas, and like everything I've ever done that has been like a writing credit or anything. It's always been like I've had ideas and I've been there in the writing room, but I've never actually write anything out. I wouldn't say that I'm a good writer, but I can develop ideas and sit with someone in a writing room and develop something.
Did you know you're the last person they would think to hire nowadays? In the old days, though, you would be in the room, which is weird because
born in the wrong generation.
Yeah, because your job would be so powerful because you may not be able to write, but you're sitting there listening and people hit these blocks where they're just like, well, what do we do with this? And you're like, how about that? Like those who are not afraid to throw out ideas are strong, I think, strong influences of the creative process. Um, but I like with streaming and everything, sometimes they don't even hire a writing crew. You're just hired like sort of like in the ether and they're like, we need someone to write this episode, but whatever. It is what it is. So you're like, let me hear an idea. Like throw out an idea. Let me see if it's a story or if it holds water. It doesn't
Okay.
hold water.
So I'm gonna say this idea that I have for like a script, but I'm saying it on here. I might have said it on here before. I doubt that I have, but now I'm giving it away for free. So someone steal it and use it, please.
Yeah, but you can't steal the perspective of the writer. You can only steal the concept, and there's only 7 stories, so no one
Yes.
really steals anything.
So steal this concept if I don't get to it first.
There's a princess and a prince.
Well, I want to set it in a world where
In a world
where where Y2K happens,
where
right?
Y2K happens.
And that is the end of the world, but only to the fact that like new people can't be born, right? So
And the end of the world.
everybody also not only just are they just
So this is first 100 or whatever it's called. 100.
I never saw that,
It's a TV show.
but oh yeah, it was like the okay. I did watch it, but I don't, it's not that. So shut up.
It's not that. There's 110 people.
The Man of 1,004
Oh,
holds.
Last Man. What is it called?
Last Man on Earth.
No, the Man of Why is
I think it's called The Last Man on Earth, right?
the Last Man show. Oh, Why the Last Man? It's called.
Oh yeah, I watched that too.
Yeah. No one can have children anymore. Men are gone. Okay, go ahead. All right. So there's Y2K, end of the world. No one else can be born.
So the so it's like anybody who's so after 2000, everybody dies at the year that everybody at the same time dies at the year, like or not at the same time, but I'd say like let's say like their birthday comes that hits the year that they were born, right? So like let's say I'm born in 1983, I die on my 83rd birthday.
Okay.
Everybody, so like that's why new birth can't happen. So like you can have a baby, but then that baby, like if the baby's born in 2001, they die when they're 1. If they're born in 2002, they die when they're 2. So it's like they don't find
Well, right
out.
now this is a setting.
Right. Yes.
It's not an idea. It's a setting.
No, this isn't an idea. The idea that I was thinking was like, I want to think about where maybe the privileged, maybe the rich and the privileged have figured out a way to fix it and only have like privileged rich kids.
Okay. This is still setting.
Right. But I'm thinking of having like a young hero wanting to give this back to the huddled masses who are maybe homeless now living in the gutters. Maybe have it be like some rich kid who, was a fan of 90s pop culture or something.
All right, so that's motivation. What's the resolve? What's the consequence of success?
The consequence of success is like normal, not privileged, snooty, up their own ass people populating the world anymore.
All right. So what
Not
happens
exclusively?
What happens to society, the hierarchy, and now you'll start developing an actual story. Because if you created the setting, a very vivid setting, you created motivation from your hero, be it a male or female, and now you have to understand the resolution. What does the resolution happen? Now, once you understand what it would look like if it was resolved, now you can create the conflict resisting that change and the conflict that happens directly after that change, things like that. And then you have to find yourself your inciting incident, like why this character decided, hey, I've lived in this world. I want to changed this world that has been great to me, but not other people. So you have to figure out that moment, right? And that becomes your. So that's how you develop the story. Right now, you gave setting and motivation, but the reason it's not considered a story idea yet is because there's no. What's the resolve?
Yeah,
What's
there's no character. I don't have
yeah.
I don't have like too many real super specifics yet. It's a concept, I guess, a premise
Yeah. But that was good.
for what would be a story.
I just
Yeah.
showed you how I would
Yeah.
consult the story, and I would give you. And if you notice, I wasn't necessarily taking the story away from you. I was just saying you need the. Now you have to think about this, and you have to, what's the purpose of that? And
Never mind. Screw it. It sucks. Never mind. You ruined it, Tom.
no. No, I do tell. There are writers or people who want to be writers that come to me and they have the most ridiculous story ideas in the world, and I go, all right, work on it. And they're like, you don't think it's bad? I go, it doesn't matter if I think it's bad. If it's something you feel passionate about writing, find it.
Do you
My
think
job. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you think that other people told them that it was bad? And that's why they were like automatically like, oh, you didn't think it was bad?
I think friends and family might have said it was great, and then like somebody they weren't friends and family with was like, "That's a terrible idea." So they were like conflicted, and then they have a professional, an expert tell them, "No, there's no such thing as a bad idea." Or more importantly, I didn't say that. I have said it's not my job to like or dislike a story. Right. It's the same thing with bands. When they used to come to me, they'd be like, "You don't want to listen to my music?" I go, "For God's sakes, if I listen to your music, I am not going to want to work with you." And they're like, "Why not?" I was like, because then every time I look at you, I'll hear the crappy music in my head. And they're like, well, don't you have to like the music? I go, you need to like the music. You're the one who needs to write it. You're the one who needs to play it. My job is to help you understand how to brand yourself, how to market yourself, how to get into the right rooms, how to make money. If it mattered what your music sounded like, there wouldn't be several different websites dedicated to people wrapping themselves up in saran wrap and crapping on camera. Like
there are people who wrap themselves in saran wrap and crap on camera.
Yeah, there are multiple websites dedicated to that. Now I only know that because I used to think the same way most people think when it comes to product and marketing. They go, "My idea is great," and it's like, no, it's not. It's not about your idea is not great.
Tell me what it says about Tell me what it says about branding that you said saran wrap. Just specifically brand specific saran wrap. Reynolds wrap.
The brand wouldn't be that it's saran wrap and crap. It would be the presentation would be the brand. However, there's a solution they are finding to a need and that's why it has an audience. There is a desire, a fetish world that has a need for this thing, and they found the solution by presenting it. Now, the way they present it becomes the brand. So how is the camera shots? Are they on a black background or are they in a setting? Do they have story or is it just right to the point? So that would be the branding, would be the presentation and the representation.
You got to wonder if they have like any catchphrases they like to use.
Yeah, shit happens.
Like they have merch. I'm surrounded by idiots.
Imagine it. You know what's crazy? I've seen you in those videos.
You've been watching those? Damn it.
I'm like, why is Corey wrestling with? Oh, I see. I get it. It's part of his brand.
Plastic.
He's a wrestler. Yeah. So no, but that's the truth. Like actors too. Actors. Oh, I want to be the lead. Why? Well, because that means I'm successful. No, what are you trying to say in your work is what will make you successful. That's the brand. Winning an Oscar for like a thing that has nothing to do with your purpose will pigeonhole you. You'll be stuck. That's who you are. And that's why Denzel Washington did the films he did that he chose to do. That's why, Michael J. Fox did what he did. That's why, like, if you look at Michael J. Fox, what films did he do? What kind of character was he always?
He was Marty McFly.
Pretty much, right? And he was the adorable guy. And
Alex Seaver or whatever.
Yeah. What's interesting is...
And he was Teen Wolf.
He
won an Oscar for that.
In his acting career, he did the status quo of what people expected. It wasn't until he left his acting career that he really started shaking things up. All right. So...
okay. I get what you're doing.
Woo! I wrote that in advance. No, just kidding.
That was talk about the different kind of worlds that he lives in. You see,
Yeah. See, he has
you're
Parkinson's.
talking. There's parallel Parkinson's.
He has parallel Parkinson's next to other people. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm Back to the Future. Marty, we must go back. It's as good as you're gonna get. Anyway.
What you were doing sounded like remember 8 Crazy Nights, like the old man that he was living
Yeah.
the old man that he was living in that guy's house or something. So,
Yeah, hey, what's going on? All right, man. 8 Crazy Nights. Okay.
did you ever see Little Nicky?
Yeah.
The remember the referee in the Harlem Globetrotters game that Dana Carvey played?
No, I don't remember his small.
Get that crap out of here!
That's funny. I remember the studio didn't want to release that movie because they're like, "What is Adam Sandler even saying?" He had to go back and re-record ADR.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and change his voice a little bit. I finally get some respect. Anyway, that was in Ladybugs, though.
That was in Ladybugs.
Yeah, the movie Ladybugs.
Yeah, with Rodney Dangerfield and that boy who was on the girls' soccer team.
Yeah, who ended up hanging himself. He killed himself. Can't believe it. I think he was in Sequest too, wasn't he? The show with the dolphin.
So.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the guy's name off the top of my head. Jonathan Brandis?
I think that's it. I think
Damn. Bam.
Ladybug actors.
Are you Googling it?
Yeah.
Because I'm remembering my sister had like the Tiger Beat magazine stuff that had that boy on the cover.
Oh yeah.
When I was younger.
Yeah. It was your sister's.
Yes, it was my sister's, not mine.
There was nowhere.
I would read it on the toilet.
Yeah, you'd be like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna read my sister's magazine that came to me.
I'm gonna subscribe to this with my name for her.
For her, yeah, as a gift. Did you know that movie came out in '92? Wow. Jonathan Brandis, yeah, there he is.
Woo!
Let's look at some facts about Jonathan Brandis. Let's see. Trivia. You want some trivia?
Jonathan Brandis trivia.
By the way, his last project was Bad Girls from Valley High. Ooh.
What year was that?
2005. He's 5'9.5". He's my height.
Mm.
Look at that.
I used to be that height when I was in 6th grade.
And what happened? You grew up?
A little bit. Just a little bit. Not much.
I stopped growing taller, but my genitals now hit the ground at my age. Okay, so
they hit the ground when you're like laying down.
Yeah. He wrote the Sequest 2032 episode.
Oh.
Interesting. He performed in more than 85 commercials. Huh. Interesting.
He was like the dollar store Devon Sawa, I would have to say.
After his death, dozens upon dozens of internet communities and memorable memorial websites were devoted to him. Wow. Interesting. Well, that happens. You know, what are you going to do? What could you
even do? What could you even do?
I don't know. If you killed yourself, I promise you, I'll make a website just making fun of the whole thing for you. And
I mean, I was just
filled with puns.
Who the heck was I just talking to the other day? They said something about killing themselves, and they were like, "Oh yeah," my friend said something about like, I guess because Logan Paul. They're saying that he messed with the bodies at the suicide woods in Japan.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, it's on film.
And my friend was like, if he was messing with my body, wouldn't you be upset about it? And I'd be like, no. I would say make fun of you because you're an asshole. You selfishly ditched all your loved ones. Fuck you for doing that.
Well, you don't know what was going through their mind unless it was
No,
a
yeah, I
bullet,
know. I know you
but
don't know. But for sure, Logan Paul could piss on your dead body and I wouldn't care.
well, the story, and by the way, I may be wrong on this. The story was in the because they took the video down. He was walking through the woods that is known for all these suicides,
Right.
and while they were there, they found a body hanging, and
Mhm.
then they filmed it, and
But did
um,
they do anything to it? I think that was what my friend was telling me. Like they had done
well,
something to the body.
I'm sure they did. They filmed it, and they let me see, Logan Paul suicide forest. Oh wow, the video's still up. It's re-uploaded. What?
Oh.
He got sued over that in 2020. For $3.5 million. I don't know. He says he was sorry. He's like, I'm sorry. Please don't let me lose my endorsement deals. I don't know. It'll take too long to look it up, but there's a lot of articles on it. I will say this though. You know, I don't know if I deal with chronic depression, right?
Do I deal with chronic
No,
depression?
I do. I have chronic persistent depression.
Oh, okay. I thought you were asking me if I also did, and I was
No,
like,
no, no, no.
I,
You got a fabulous ass, so like you
I
can't.
don't not suffer from chronic depression.
Well, chronic depression is that you're always at a state of depression, but the value is waived by whatever chemical imbalance you're dealing with at any given time. So you always feel. But my thing is disassociation. Like that's my main thing I deal with. But I always tell I tell
Yeah.
people, especially in therapy, do you ever have thoughts of suicide? And I go, it's not that I want to kill myself, but I have feelings that I want to die, and those are two different mentalities. I feel, especially for my like your it's like your brain is like there's nothing, just die, but you're like, but I don't want to die. You know what I'm saying? Like that. So it's an interesting, and I write about some of those themes sometimes in stories and stuff where like the person is struggling with these, where like that's a contradiction almost. It's like, well, I
Did
want
you
to die, but I don't want to end it.
did you watch the Louis C.K. 2017 Netflix special?
The sorry.
No,
Oh,
2000. It was called 2017. It was Louis C.K. He had a whole chunk about suicide.
I may
He was
have.
like,
Was he in a weird tuxedo? I mean, a
yeah,
suit.
yeah, he was in a suit.
Yeah. I think
He
I've
had a
seen.
whole chunk about suicide that was too perfect. It was too good. I
Yeah.
mean, go
Well,
back and watch that special. It's
he
fucking
is a genius
really
comedian.
fun.
I will tell you a funny story about Louis C.K.
Please.
I hear he jerked off in front of no. So one time I was working with these comedians, right, in top of the bottom pile, like we were like a team, and and I said I kept telling him about brand. I go, brand really influences. There's a certain point where a comedian no longer is funny, but their audience will find them funny. Well, it's not that they're not funny. What I'm saying is, and successful comedians have come out and tried to explain this. They don't know if they're funny anymore because their audience is going to laugh at them.
Right.
Right? Like when you go to see Louis C.K., you're
You
a
know
Louis
what you signed
C.K.
up for. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a fan.
Hmm.
It's very rare that Louis C.K. is going to go into a club that is his show that you
Right.
paid to see. But like a Jerry Seinfeld will be working on a new bit reading, and people are like, "This is terrible," and they're like, "I'm literally reading still. I'm still working it out."
Right.
There's a difference between that. But what I'm talking about is like when you're doing a joke, like a work joke, you're
Hmm.
gonna get laughs because you are the brand. And they didn't believe me. They were like, "No, you just have to be really funny." I go, I'm not saying they're not funny, but their audience is going to laugh at them. That's just what's going to happen.
Hmm.
And so one day I sent a Louis C.K. joke verbatim. I wrote it out, and I was like, "Hey, I've been working on this joke. I was wondering if you could give me some feedback on it."
Hmm.
And I sent it, and they wrote me back like, it's a little wordy, it's kind of long. I think there's some good themes in there that you could probably work on if you just slim it down, maybe get to the point quicker. And I was like, you don't think this would get a lot of laughs though? And it's like a 2-minute bit, whatever. And they're like, I think if you really worked it and you change a lot of the wording, you could. And so then I sent the clip of Louis C.K. just doing that joke.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. He seems to be getting, and they're like, this is Louis C.K. And he's like, you said it was you. And I was like, well, I was proving my point. Until it's who it is. What, Popper?
I I was working on my raisin brand. I was raising it.
Raisin Brand. Now, did you hear it through the grapevine?
I
I heard it through the grapevine. Listen, I know that you don't cut the show,
right.
but my dog needs to go out.
Okay.
So,
So, well, you want to do that and then come back and we'll wrap it up, or do you want to wrap it up now and you want to rock and roll and we'll go let your dog out?
well, I don't. It's up to you.
I
It's
mean,
up
we
to
already
you.
we've hit an hour.
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
I mean, I could just start. I could start taking it home if you want.
Well,
Just
yeah,
a couple more
whatever.
things. Send you off into the sunset with a hot dog and a handshake.
Yeah, if you feel the conversation's over, I'm fine with it. But if you want to read some song lyrics from the '90s,
I could do that.
it's like a 10-minute walk. I got to take them to poop.
Okay. All right, just a couple more things, and I'll send you off into the sunset with a hot dog and a handshake and a poopy bag for you to.
Because he's shivering. That's why he's crying. Hey, Bubba. I know you're giving me the stare. He's giving me the stare. You can't see him, but I can. Hey, Pupper.
I adore you, man. I always appreciate your time, and I appreciate how willing you are to like light up any situation. It's funny. It's funny for me to hear that you say you have any kind of depression, because every time I ever see you or talk to you, it's something funny or you have a big grin on your face. It's the tears of a clown.
It's called the Robin Williams syndrome. I'd rather other people laugh, and I'm Harry. So it's like,
do you have anything that would be something that you'd think would be important to ask me or say to me on the record because of this format outliving us?
Well, if my dog wasn't literally ready to crap his pants,
take a shit,
I'd take you down the rabbit hole, but his rabbit hole needs to be relieved.
His rabbit hole needs to be
he's going
low to the ground.
You can't hear it on the mic, but
all right. Well, we'll take a quick break.
All right. Yeah.
We'll take a quick break and we'll come back in just 10 minutes.
I'll mic mute and stop the cam, and then you could just do your thing, and I'll be right back.
All right, cool.
All right.
All right. Taking a quick break. This is the first time I think I've done this quick breaking. Oh, shoot. Hello, comments. Sequest. Holy hell, throwback. Thanks, Rich. Earthquake Simulator. Gimmick Simulator. Hey, brother. Hey, Rich. All right, so just to well, I just want to take this chance to thank everybody who consumes anything that I put out there, and want to let anybody know, if you're listening to this podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, I hope you've subscribed. If this is your first time checking out Evolving with Corey Castle, you can go back and check out 282 other episodes on all the platforms. You can follow me on YouTube, youtube.com/Corey Castle. Get new episodes early on YouTube. The episodes pop every Monday on Spotify and the podcasting platforms. But if you follow my YouTube page, you'll get the episodes early, as well as get the episodes of my podcast that I host with my partner, my girlfriend, Alyssa Marie. We host a podcast called Shamecast. New episodes pop, sporadically. We kind of do them, We kind of do them maybe monthly, but it's usually just us, talking about our relationship stuff, uh, and we're talking to we have a voicemail set up where people can leave us anonymous voicemails and ask us questions and for advice and stuff, and we just kind of play those on the air and then we talk about them. So I hope you follow my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Corey Castle. You can go to prowrestlingtees.com/Corey Castle. You can get yourself a podcast T-shirt from Evolving with Corey Castle. The logo that's my logo on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And there's this new app that I downloaded that I've been using a lot lately. If you want to follow me a little bit like closer, it's just audio. It's an audio platform, but usually about, I don't know, every couple days or so, I go on and I'll hit like go live or whatever. And when I do that, it's usually like I'll like watch something and I'll be, it's similar, which I'll do on Twitch sometimes too. It'll be like I'll just watch something and have it on in the background and be recording. So audio only goes on the Wisdom app, and I'll do usually the video on my Twitch channel, which you can follow, Twitch at Corey Castle, CoryKastle. And like I said, let me know you exist. I appreciate all the comments that I'm always getting on here. I appreciate the love. I really, really do. Dude, the amount of currency of effort that I'm so grateful for, dude, attention, energy, and effort. You can't just turn the radio on. You can't just turn the TV on and then have me be there. You can't just turn the computer on and have me be there. So you'd have to take a couple extra steps. So to say, the steps leading up to making you get to the point where you're following me at some point. I'm so grateful. And if you've done that, go ahead and hit subscribe so that you'll, constantly get updated when new episodes come out. Hang in here for one moment. I'll take another quick break too. Anybody who's watching the video, I'm going to share with you these bruises that I've got. If you want to look at these cool bruises, right? Rad. Isn't this cool? Isn't it cool how I got a bruise here and I got a big bruise here? Oh, geez. I'm a bruised ass boy. All right. I'm messing with the junk of this. It's another interesting thing I'm doing. If anyone's watching along with the video, sometimes this is like the other way I've been doing it is I've been doing it this kind of way. And see how I have this TV here. So I've been streaming stuff on here. and I'll put something on and wait for Tom to come back. Mm-hmm. From this week on AEW Rampage. Did I watch that already this week? Mm-hmm. Oh, a new comment. What's a new comment? Is there a new comment? Now, now. At this time, if you're still listening to the podcast Evolving with Corey Castle, episode 283, on any of the podcast platforms or on YouTube, thanks for hanging with me. I appreciate you guys' time and patience. The guest had to go take his dog to take a poop, and I told him it would be fine for him to just go do that. And I figure while he's gone, I'm not gonna cut it, because if I stop it, I don't know how to restart it. I'm I don't claim to be the best at knowing podcasting and stuff, as far as like editing audio and video. I'm not. I'm just a personality. I'm just a host. I'm the talent. I'm the talent bro. So it's a cool, like, intimate look at what we're doing here. So I figure I'll just try to while waiting for my guest.
What are you playing? Video games?
So I was doing the I never stopped recording because
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
I don't know how to restart the stream or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's the only thing about StreamYard that I'm a little upset. Like, it doesn't give you you can't pause.
Right, you can't pause it and restart it. So if I end broadcast, I can't restart the. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I just kept it going.
But you're also live right now, right?
Yeah. So I just stayed live. But I switched my camera angle. See, sometimes I do it like use the webcam that's attached to my laptop over here.
Yeah.
And have my TV over here playing something, and I'll watch along.
Okay.
I'll do that on occasion.
Look at that. We gotta destroy the brain watching. That's nice on Twitch.
Uh-huh.
On the Twitch of the Twitch.
That's my buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. My buddy who gave me COVID.
Really? You got the COVID? Well, not now.
Handed it right to me.
Did you get long COVID or just
No, it was just short. This is a quick couple days sick.
No, like where you maintain like COVID like symptoms, but you don't.
No, never had any of the bad symptoms. Like, I just had like a sore throat and felt real tired and sore and hung over for a couple days.
Yeah.
I never lost. I think I had COVID maybe 3 times. Jesus. I never lost my taste buds. I never lost my sense of smell. But
know, that's good though.
Yeah, you know you want to be able to taste and smell things. And I was showing the streamers
Yeah.
my bruises that I got.
Jesus, look at my Bruce. Look at that.
These bruises from from fake wrestling.
Let me show you my. I feel like you're just showing muscles. You're just like, look at.
No, I wasn't doing that.
You know what's crazy? I used to be bigger than you when I was younger.
I think you told me. I think you told me that.
Yeah, and I lost it all.
Well, didn't you like get in a wreck or something?
I got cancer, which is
Well,
like being.
that's a wreck. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I like. It was weird because I was watching like everything about me, like Emaciate, but I didn't see it until after I went back and looked at the photos. Where I was like, oh, 2006. I was like, whoa, because I was a gym rat, 5 days a week, and but I had massive shoulders, a big back, chest. I had like the power lifter stomach, where it like came out, and
The ultraviolet what the hell do they call that? The muscle gut.
yeah, the muscle. I had a muscle gut, and then but I still have my legs. I'm very proud that I still have muscle legs,
Good.
and the muscle butt. Like I really, I don't have the guy, 45-degree angle, So, but I lost a lot of my bulk, but I'm still like almost 200 pounds, but I'm not fat. Like my whatchamacallit fat index is still very low, which is good.
It's very good. Yeah. How were you on all the cancer stuff? Did any of that ever come back? Do you have any like lingering effects from it?
Well, I have something in my lungs, but it's dormant right now, so I just have to keep getting that checked to make sure it doesn't grow. But I wasn't even on any treatment or anything because they found it and they were like, "We got to get this out." So they just went in and did surgery and tore it all out because I was that close. Like it was, they were just, "This is not good," and I was like, "Okay." And it was less than 30 days later they had me in surgery. And I was like, okay, great.
Do you remember the Mike Birbiglia joke about they never tell you when they find something?
What?
He said like they never tell you they found something in your stomach, and they go, "It's season tickets to the Yankees."
Yeah, it's always like, oh, we have some bad news. What do you mean bad news? Did I win the lotto? No, you're dying. Oh. Yay! I don't mind if they tell me I'm dying. I mind if they tell me if I'm gonna like die. And I think there's painful death, and then there's like, well, basically you're gonna close your eyes one day and not wake up. You're like, oh, I don't need any surgery.
So, like, do you fear the pain of dying?
Well, oh, my dog's just laying there. My aunt had cancer. She had lung cancer and breast cancer and brain cancer, and like to watch her deteriorate that's pretty devastating. I don't want to do that. But like if I'm dying of a heart attack, it is what it is. You know, but to like prolong. I mean, she had to deal with it for 4 years. They fixed it. Came back, and she lost her health. She started getting other problems. No one wants that. No one has time for that.
What have you arrived at as far as like what happens to people when they die? Like, where do you see your loved ones? Where do you see that they've gone? What do you think has happened to them?
They go into my wallet for the cost of burial first. Well, honestly, I have my beliefs on that stuff. I've always had beliefs on that. I'm not really accustomed to talking about my personal beliefs. However, I'm happy to talk about philosophically the religious outlook on it.
Yes, if you want to be as broad and vague as you can about what your actual feelings are.
Well, without saying what I believe happens personally, I do believe there is something, broadly speaking. I just don't want to be pity. My issue is being when like if someone was like, "I'm Jewish," now all the bias of being Jewish is thrown upon you. Oh, they celebrate Hanukkah. They wear a little cat. If you're like, "I'm Catholic," you rape little boys. Like, I just don't want
Well, that's the automatic thing you go to when someone says
because
they're
it's Catholic,
Catholic.
but Christians are annoying. So like, like that's. But they don't molest. I shouldn't say that because we can't assume. Jeffrey Dahmer might have been a Christian, but uh, that's the only reason I don't talk about what my personal beliefs are, because then you get the assumption and it's thrown upon you, and like now they look at you and they go, "Oh, he wears a fucking yarmulke," and you're like, he sings the dreidel, 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 spin your dreidel round, dreidel, 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 make it out of clay. Like, I don't want to be known as like that. So, but if I'm like, there's reincarnation, and like, oh my God, like he's a Muslim. And it's like, no, like you can believe in reincarnation and not be. Is your wife looking at you, your girlfriend? She's Indian. She's Indian. Did I mess up? She's Hindi. Is she Hindi? Sukran. Sukran. I speak Hindi. Are you getting a look like, who is this guy?
No one's here, dude.
Oh, you looking off to the camera like,
There's nobody here. I'm by myself.
Philosophically speaking, is there anyone anywhere?
Is it? No, but somebody's giving me a judgmental look over there. They're like, "Hey, you gonna let him sing that dreidel, dreidel, dreidel song?"
He's singing it with great key. Well, I don't believe heaven and hell exist, though. I don't. That just doesn't. Even if I didn't have my own beliefs, it's just weird to think there's a benevolent God that's like, you broke the 10 commandments, you must go to hell.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah,
hell is a living thing.
Well, we might be in hell right now. This
That's
is
what
the
I'm
thing.
saying. Like, hell is where you go in your brain.
Yeah.
Here on Earth.
Yeah, you can be in hell making love to a woman you don't like anymore. Now, I will say this: when I was younger, though, this is getting deep. When I was younger, I was forced into Catholicism because my father's Catholic, and then I was forced into Christianity because my mom's a born again. And there was just a point where I was like, let me research religion. Which, by the way, if you ever want to be enlightened, read. And I found out that purgatory was actually invented by the Catholic Church because people were fearing to join the Catholic religion because they were like, well, what about babies? And what about, what about people that didn't have, and they're like, well, there's a purgatory. And they're like, well, what's that? And they're like, it's where you go. We're for judgment, and you could be there forever, infinity. However, and you're just like, all right. Well, if they're making up things, they have to make up other stuff. So,
like, where's your credibility, Catholicism?
Yeah, what's the deal? And then when you think about, there was then people are like, oh, did you know that when the Catholics went to Norway, they tricked all the believers because they had this scientific evidence of how to walk through fire without being hurt. And they're like, if your God is greater than ours, you won't be hurt going through this fire thing. And if our God is greater, we won't be hurt. And
you go first.
Yeah, and they hurt themselves, and then they went through and they were like, your God is greater than ours. And then with the Celtic cross, the Saint I think it was Saint Peter. Was it Saint Peter? Who's I can't remember the saint. Anyway, there was a guy. He was kidnapped when he was a child. He was brought to the Irish, right? And he really liked the Irish, but he was enslaved. He broke free, went back to his home place, became a bishop or something like that over time. And then he's like, I want to go. And they're like, what do you want to do? And he's like, I want to go back to Ireland. And I think they're good people. We just need to guide them. And he went there and he took their sun god, which is a circle, and they took the cross and they made the Celtic cross and they brought the two religions together that way. So, there's a lot of insanity. And then when you look at
a lot of rise together. Rise together.
They weren't rising together. They were corrupting together. But then you look at the Horus and Ra, and you look at Jesus, and you look at the 3 days, and then it's the sun, and then you look at this 12 apostles, but there's also 12, and you're just like, okay, like, I'm not gonna believe in any of this. Logic is a dangerous tool, you know.
I know I just brought this up on the show, but I have to bring it up again, and it makes me laugh. John Mulaney. Are you familiar with John Mulaney?
Oh yeah, I love John Mulaney.
When he does the whole bit about King Solomon.
I'm not sure. The last bit I remember that's famous from him is you can't say midget because it's just as bad as the N-word. And he's like, but we are saying the word.
The one that you can't say, that's the worst word.
That's the worst word.
Right.
That bit, that's funny. I like his voice too. Are you telling me a midget is a bad word? I can tell you why midget is not the worst word.
There will be a protest of midgets outside this building. He's like, promise?
You promise?
But I was talking about when he does the two women.
Oh, he does two women?
Two women went to King Solomon with one baby, saying it was their baby.
Yeah.
And King Solomon pitched the idea of cutting it in half. And the one lady was like, whoa, don't. And then the guy was like, that must be the real mother.
Yeah.
Must be the real mother. Didn't want to cut it.
Logically speaking, yeah.
The other dumb bitch was like, I'll take the top part.
We know what she would choose for mermaid top or mermaid bottom. I want a human body to talk to. Are you doing stand-up still?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I'm not doing it as much as I, in the past I've been doing it. It's like I'll go through phases where it's like I don't get stage time every week. Like I'd say last weekend was the last time I got up on stage.
Do you have a routine that you've stuck to for like the last 30 years, or do you go up and just
all the time? I'm like airplane food, right? Airline.
Did you see these new wagon cars? There's no horses.
And they put wood on the side of these wagons.
Yeah, they still have horsepower, but they're cars. Okay. When I was younger, I saw an automobile once at a fair. Now they're everywhere. That's how old your routine is.
I wonder sometimes because I know that there's like lots of guys who like stuck to their bits for a long time, and even people who I love, like Brian Regan, probably stuck to the same jokes for so long, but he's like one of the greats.
I don't know if that's necessarily true with Brian Regan. Like there's a certain rule in comedy where it's like you're going to become a circuit comic or you're going to become a comedian. And, the circuit comics are the ones that you're talking about where they have their routine. Like Jay Leno is notorious for being a circuit comic. He won't do specials. He won't record his comedy. He just wants to be able to use it. And he feels once he uses it, he has to throw it out because people know it. So people also consider him a great comic though. He's one of the best comics.
Genius, yeah.
But he's not necessarily one that's always writing new material, though he does work new material. But, if you're paying him as much as you're paying him to come see, he's just going to hit you with his A material. Mm-hmm. I'm more of a Louis C.K. fan because he's always throwing out his stuff and then starting over. Yeah. Jerry Seinfeld just recently.
Did you watch the I'm Sorry special?
Not yet. It's on my to-watch list.
Okay. I bought the I think I bought it. I think I bought I'm Sorry.
Yeah, because you can only watch it.
Yeah, you can only buy it off of his website.
Yeah. But which is smart.
I watched it and I liked it.
Yeah, well,
Louis is the best, man. I never for a moment gave up on Louis. I was never everybody's turning on Louis and it's a scandal. Boycott this guy. That didn't happen for me.
I think some people should have turned on him when he asked. Be like, "Do you want to watch?" No, I'm going to turn around and you can do whatever you got to do.
You know what? I'm going to cancel this interaction with us. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so difficult to go, no.
Yeah.
This is awkward.
My friends were making jokes like that they were going to walk around with shirts saying Louis asked.
He did ask. And the women that said no, he stopped or he didn't do it.
Right.
And Sarah Silverman came out and said, sometimes I said yes, sometimes I said no.
It's like everybody's got their weird thing, and he did the joke about it about like everybody's got their thing. Now everyone knows mine. He's like,
Yeah.
Obama knows my thing.
I like what he's like. What I learned is basically, if you have a thing, you ask the lady if they are okay with it, and then they're gonna say yes, right? And if they say yes, then you ask them again, right? And if they say yes again, then you just don't do it.
Right.
I've learned in my lifetime that if the girl enjoyed it, you still have to fear the chance that she will one day think, maybe I didn't enjoy it, despite the orgasm. And he has money now, though, so I'm gonna.
Yeah, that's bizarre. You know, it's strange trying to come up, trying to rise together, trying to rise.
Trying to rise with the
when
Viagra.
when dude, it's weird. Like a couple of years ago, I was dating and stuff, and I brought a girl back to my house, and she was like, "You're being weird right now," and I was like, "Leave, please leave." Like I'm sorry, I don't want a story to come out later where you told me you were being weird and I did nothing about it. You told me I was being weird. I don't think I was being weird. Your idea of what weird is and what my idea of weird is probably aren't the same thing. Go find that.
Yeah.
Go find whatever your version of weird is that you like.
Yeah, you want to peg me? I think you should leave.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Right after the pegging.
He didn't let me peg him. He made me uncomfortable. He has money. He raped me.
No thanks. No
that
thanks.
doesn't even make any sense. My rule is I have to become friends with somebody before it goes any further. And I need to put a lot of time into that friendship because I want to see who they are as people with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And you can learn a lot from someone by how they talk about their relationships that they are in. And you're just like, oh, I know I can't be intimate with this person because, it's always the other person's fault. And you're like, how often can it be the other person's fault? You don't take accountability.
You might have heard me say this before, but if you haven't, listen to it again and use it in the future. If you want to steal it and give me credit, cool. If you don't give me credit,
yeah, I'll give you credit.
I always say like I treat any situation that you've ever been in like it's a game show with a big wheel, like Wheel of Fortune. But when you turn it, every single thing on that wheel is stuff that you can blame shit on. Right? Yeah. Like my childhood, the neighborhood I lived in, my brother, my sister, my cousin, my uncle,
my massive penis, like anything. It could.
And your name is half the size of every other thing on that wheel. You spin that wheel and it lands on anything else, but that little sliver that's your name, keep spinning it. Keep spinning it. Keep spinning that accountability wheel, kid.
The accountability wheel. I don't take accountability for anything. It can't be my fault because I'm amazing. You ever meet a I can't be wrong person?
I think I've met less I can be wrong people.
Well, I wish I could meet I wish I met I'm wrong people. But those people that are just like, I can't, because if I'm wrong, then I'm less valued. And if I'm less valued, I have no worth. Therefore, I can't be wrong because I have worth. And you're like, no, being wrong doesn't make you less worthy. It makes you actually more worthy.
Yeah, you're more human than you were letting us know.
As from the famous words of Rob Zombie, more human than human. Okay.
More human than human.
Oh man. So what you're saying is you have some skeletons in your closet.
That's how that sounds good. Right?
How come you've never become successful? Because I've done some questionable things in my past, and I'm just waiting.
You know what's prevented me from being successful is that I was wrong and refused to admit it multiple times, and here I sit still wrong about so
Yeah.
many things and refuse to be corrected.
Too many people, too many women said yes to me, and I fear they're going to turn into no's. So I refuse to work hard at being good at anything. Uh, I'm just going to continue to be a failure. How many women have you been with? None.
Too many.
Zero.
None is
Zero.
too many.
My number is so big. No, I like the chase, and then once they agree to be with me, then I say, well, we have to stop it here, and they go, why? Because I like the chase, but I don't like the interaction because then I could get in trouble.
Right. It's like, you know, once I got you, it's not fun anymore.
Yeah,
Once
yeah,
once you've
yeah. Once I gave you $50
right,
and the exchange and the interaction is that money is for you to go home. Okay. Have you ever been with a woman and thought, man, her penis is beautiful?
not yet. No.
Not yet. Would you keep going? Would you be like, well, they are a woman, they said they are a
Uh,
woman, so
yeah, probably.
yeah, you'd be
I
like,
mean,
fuck it.
I mean, not. I mean, I'm.
I mean,
I'm.
you can't be like, oh my god, you have a penis, because they're like, you have a penis
I'm in a very great relationship with a woman now
with a penis.
who has no penis,
Oh my god, I'm
but
sorry. I feel
but
bad for you.
but she has lots of penises in her drawers. She is a consultant
Your penises.
for a dildo company.
Oh,
She's
I
a,
thought she was a consultant. She looks at men's penis and goes,
no,
yeah, that's gonna need work.
she's a door to door dildo salesman.
She's a triple D.
Door
Door to door dildo.
I like to joke that she really knows her way around a ding dong.
A ding dong. Now, when she takes out a new dildo and it's like, goes from where your pelvis is to your neck, do you think maybe you got to work a little harder?
Nah, man, because of that thing doesn't have my charisma.
You says you.
That thing doesn't have my character, doesn't have my
Yeah, it
joke.
doesn't have my warmth, but it does not bother me after I orgasm. That's the issue. Women might say they like cuddling afterwards, but a lot of times they need to get back to work. They're thinking, I got stuff I got to do. I got to write my book. I got to not be here.
I got this big to-do list. I got you checked off. Now I'm out of here.
Have you ever finished with your woman and you both looked at each other like, we don't have to cuddle. We can just I want to go do something. And you're like, oh, I want to do something. No, I want to go do something by myself. Have you ever had that moment?
I feel like you asking me these questions. Are you trying to work this stuff out for your own self?
No. I have complete. I have excellent relationships because I get broken up with a lot.
the dumpy. What did you say? You've been the dumpy more than you've been the dumper?
I don't know. Let me. I broke up with my first girlfriend. My second girlfriend broke up with me, but it was like two weeks of being together, so I don't count that. No, I think I break up with the girl often.
What do you think is the most common theme in the breakups?
My biggest pet peeve is being told to do something different than who I am. But that does not mean I'm not willing to compromise. And I think what I'm trying to say is basically I like to talk to people. So the moment they don't like that I talk to people, I know that relationship's over. If they make the comment, why do you always make jokes? I know that relationship's over. Not that I don't always make jokes. I take charge of serious things. But when I'm in public or if I'm around people, I'm going to make jokes. If they say I embarrass them, I know the relationship is over. So I'll just break up with them. Because I don't have time to change who I am for the comfort of other people. Because, and I say this knowing that probably 95% of what other people do makes me uncomfortable, I disagree with, or I don't like, but I never ever bring it up to them because that's who they are. And I've always been told to accept people for who they are, unless their behavior is directly interfering with your I guess your goodwill, your health. Like
Mhm.
obviously, if somebody was a hitter, you know, hey, I don't like that, but so much so I'm leaving. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I run into it often where people are like, why do you always talk to the waiters when we're out? And I go, oh, because I like talking to people. I'm like, well, don't do it. I don't like it. And then I'm like, I don't like that you're racist. And they're like, I'm not racist. I go, you hate so and so. You make fun of so and so. You have, well, that's because you can't trust them. I go, that's racist. you know, and and I'm still friends with you. And they're like, well, I don't think it's racist. And I go, it's okay that you don't think it's racist. That doesn't
Dumped.
make it not racist. I was on a date with a girl once where unprompt, she goes, I just want you to know I hate Asians and Jews. And I was like, oh, why did she say that after we ordered the food? Like, I had to break up with her directly after that. I couldn't.
Yeah, man. I tell the story on stage. I went on a date with a woman who, like, the whole day she was like saying real bully shit. Like, she was
Yeah.
being a dick to people, like, out in on the date. She was like being a dick, and she was telling me this story about how she like called these dudes a bunch of pussies who were crying. And I was like, dude, you know what? You, maybe don't pull people down like that. Maybe
Yeah.
don't put people down. And she was like, I'm not doing that. Blah, blah, blah. And then later on, we went from one bar to another bar, and we went to the other bar, and this whole group of black people came in.
Yeah, yeah.
And she looked at me and she went, it's getting dark in here. And I was like, you can't say that. And she was
no, she can say it, but it says a lot.
I was like, yeah, I don't know if you could say that. And she was like, I was saying it like a good thing. And I was like, well, then you wouldn't have whispered it.
We should enslave their entire race. I'm saying it as a good thing. Why are you upset? It's not bad.
She's like,
do you mean it? No, I don't mean it, but it's something that we should really discuss.
Did I lock my car doors? Oh, shoot. Like,
I love that when they lock the doors or they pull the purse up.
Right. So then I went home. I was gonna spend the rest of the night with this person, but I just went home.
Were you like, listen, Mom, I can't do it. I gotta go.
And then she like wrote me a message and said that I wasn't alpha enough for her. And I was
Did you explain alpha beta doesn't actually exist?
I was like, are you saying I'm a beta because I said don't call men pussies? Are you saying I'm a beta because I said don't like make fun of black people?
Now, see, I think you should be able to call men pussies, but you shouldn't mean it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like there's a like and I we're friends, so like if you were like, stop being a pussy, like as long as you don't mean it,
right,
and you're just saying it because it's funny,
right. But if you're like, hey, that guy's crying, what a pussy that guy is, like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again, if you're like they're a pussy because they're crying and you believe that in your fucking soul, like, you gotta.
You know what? Upgrade your life because this is old shit that you don't need anymore.
Like I make fun of everybody, but not to be malicious. I make fun of people to be observing the humor in life, and then I get the laugh, but I don't mean it. Like I don't care. Like, if like I have a fat friend and I make a fat joke, I don't care that they're fat. I don't really believe fat people or whatever. I'm just saying, and I'm just observing the humor. Like if there's a fat person sitting and it's all leaking out the side of the chair, I'm like, what are they melting? Like, because observing it is funny, but I'm not like those people are just like, I don't have like a derogatory,
just a blanket judgment. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing the blanket because I mean, dude, I spent so much time. I think through my whole life, I think I did a lot. I did a lot of like saying the F word for homosexuals. I used to use that word a lot.
What word is it?
Faggot. I used to say it.
Whoa!
I used to say it all the time. Like, bro, and the thing is, like, I would say it, and I go, "It's okay." Like, my brother's gay. It's all right. Like, it's fine.
My brother sucked my. It's fine.
Like, I grew up like in a household where I was only straight one. Like, my sister's gay, my brother's gay, my mom's gay. My little sister was just a baby. But
I'm assuming your mom came out gay.
Yes, she came. She did. Yes. Yes.
Unless she adopted all of you.
She married my dad.
Yeah.
When she was only 18 years old when she married my dad.
That's pretty good.
So,
well, as long as they loved each other, that's all that matters.
Well, she's not married to my dad anymore.
Oh, so they don't love.
They don't love each other. Not one.
Why are you leaving me? Why I'm gay. Yeah, but why are you leaving me?
Not now, not never.
Yeah, well, I just don't find you attractive anymore.
They
I think if you're a homosexual, you can love somebody of the opposite sex. It's just you're not
right. No, it was more about for sure because they knew each other when they were kids.
Yeah,
and he was the type of guy that her parents didn't approve of, which like drove her more towards him.
Yeah.
Like her mom and her stepdad were like, "That guy's a loser. Stay away from him." And she's
Puerto
like,
Rican.
I love him. I'm gonna marry him and have his kids, and then come out as a lesbian.
I don't get wet around him because I'm gay and I haven't come out, but I'm gonna have his kids. This is gonna be the best life ever being in the closet. Oh God, why can't I be true? Do you take this man? Oh God, it's yes. Oh look, she's happy she's getting married. Do we have sex tonight? She must be like, it'd be really nice if you got fat. What do you mean? Like if you had like moobs. Why? Oh, I just love these just juicy fat titties on men. Really? Yeah. Oh, I would really love that. Oh, why are you getting so fat? My wife likes man tits. Really? She likes man tits? It'd be great if you just shaved your chest for me. Why? I don't know. Just so your man tits are just skin.
Well,
are you a lesbian? No. That's ridiculous. Why are our kids all gay? I don't know. I don't know. Corey's straight. No, he's not. Look at that man bun.
Well,
he's a wrestler.
I've done the joke on stage a bunch where I've talked about people ask me why I wanted to be a pro wrestler, and I always say I wanted to do something different than my older brother, who's a sassy homosexual that works in retail. So what I do is I go from town to town on the weekends, shave my armpits, I put on tights, I oil myself up, and I grapple around with somebody I don't really know that well in front of groups of strangers, because that'll show them. That'll show them.
Can we go back to the word faggot for a second?
Yeah, please.
So you know how like if you're gay, you could be like, "Oh, you're being such a faggot," right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
It's strange, man. It's very strange. And I think use of that and use of I think when I was originally bringing up that I used to say it a lot, and I kind of like didn't factor in my present company at the time or who would be consuming the shit that I was saying and normalizing that this word is okay to use. Same with like fat jokes. I mean, tons of fat jokes. And I have a lot of loved ones in my life who are very overweight, and I was probably hurting them. I honestly have made apologies to a lot of my friends.
Really?
Who were like, man, I was a dick for a while. Like, and I made a lot of jokes that would probably hurt a lot of people's feelings. And that does not exclude me making these kind of jokes in front of you in front of her, in front of him. Like, it's just, I want to clear up because, like, I'm not going to get canceled for making fat jokes when I was younger.
You'd be surprised.
But maybe. What if I am?
Yeah.
That's not how I feel now.
Well, you're not allowed to change your thoughts. See,
No.
how you were in your youth is exactly who you are today after all that time learning and developing and growing, educating. Like when you read a book, you're technically not allowed to use the information from that book
Right.
to elevate yourself.
Well, the original name that I came up with for the show was called "Staying the Same" with Corey Castle.
Yeah, because you saw the word, evolving, and you were like, "Oh, I can't use that. It's a new word. I have to only use the vocabulary they gave me beforehand."
Remaining with Corey Castle.
I think if you call somebody fat, you're being mean. But if you make fat jokes, I don't think you're being mean. It's the same thing as skinny. Like if you say, "Oh, you're skinny," in a derogatory way, I think you're being mean. But if you make jokes about being skinny, like when I used to come home to see my mom, the first thing out of my mouth would be like, "Oh, you got fat." And I'm like, "Okay." Like that's mean. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I used to say to my friend Dan, I would make fun of him, right? Because it was funny as an observation. And he goes, "That's not funny." Right? And then I would use the same joke on someone else near him and he would laugh. And I go, "Why are you I thought you said it wasn't funny." He goes, "Well, it's funny when you say it to someone else."
Well, it wasn't a personal attack on me.
Yeah. And I go, "But I wasn't a personal attack on him." It was my point that I was making over the years. And after a while, he was like, "Oh, okay, I get it."
Dude, I really think it's tricky when you're talking about anybody's body. It's tricky. And I mostly don't want to speak in any ways that aren't just complimentary. Unless I'm like, "Hey, dude, you're looking great."
Oh.
Like, I'm throwing something out there like that.
Well, yeah, but listen, you have to be willing to offend. Okay? You have to be willing to offend, but I don't think you should be, for me personally, trying to offend.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm very of the mindset that we can't bubble wrap the world and we can't make everything comfortable for everybody who wants everything to be comfortable. Like the amount of people who have a complaint and a problem with everything you do and you say are the type of people who are going to have a problem with everything everybody says.
I do. I know but I don't voice it. I use my adult brain and my my ability to restrain myself.
Logic.
But I'm offended by like 90 something % of what the people say in this world and what they do. I'm offended by government. I'm offended by people who judge. I'm offended by, right? I'm offended by people who get offended. Right? And it sounds like I'm making a joke, but it's true. But my impulse control is mature. When someone comes and they want to shake my hand or hug me to say hello, I'm instantly offended or disgusted or uncomfortable. And, but I don't make a fuss out of it. But obviously if you smell, like if you go to hug me and you smell, I'll be like, "No, I'm good." And they'll be like, "What?" And I was like, I just don't want to hug you. And now I'm like, "You
6
smell."
feet, social distance, COVID.
Yeah. And then I'm not trying to make fun of them, but I'll be like, "Well, you smell and I don't want your smell on me." And then like, "Well, you're offending me." I go, "No, I'm communicating with you." And that's the thing. Like words are so powerful and they're weak at the same time. We can use them to communicate our feelings, but if our feelings offend you, you're no longer communicating, you're insulting someone. And it's like, no, if I communicate how I feel, right? You should be able to communicate how you feel or understand my feelings. But if I offend you because I'm telling you you smell, if you say to me, "Why won't you hug me?" And I go, "Well, you smell." And then you get pissed that I made fun of you. I'd be like, "I didn't make fun of you."
You asked me for
Right? But then someone walks by and they go, "Oh, my grandfather has a chronic skunk syndrome. And I can't believe you just said that out of nowhere." Like you should be more conscious of what you're saying in public because you might offend someone. And it's just like, okay, that's like, I don't have time for that kind, but like that shit would offend me, but I don't say, like, I'm like, my father had the greatest comment to his grandfather, his father, I mean, who was my grandfather. My grandfather was in the car with my dad driving, and a guy cut off my dad. And my grandfather's like, "Why didn't you honk the horn?" He goes, "Because I'm not expecting a Christmas present from that stranger that I will never see again."
What is the result of honking the horn?
Yeah, like,
You
why
just
do I?
made a
Yeah,
big noise and accomplished nothing.
yeah. Oh, you cut me off. I just want you to know you cut me off. Like, who cares?
And most of the time, they're listening to music in their car anyway, and they can't hear the horn honking.
Which is terrible because you're supposed to be driving defensively anyway. Uh, but I don't think words should have power. I think intention should. I also think situational communication is
Yeah,
valid.
there is a it's definitely like a reading the room thing. Like there's a circumstance where anything can be fine.
Yeah.
Anything can be good, bad, just fine, terrible, like depending on who it is and who's saying it and what situation they're in, who they're saying it to. It all of the factors come into play when it comes to those kind of things.
Yeah. And by the way, like, if you came up to me and you're like, "Hey, uh, I know we just met, and I like you. You made me laugh." It's just just be careful because I don't like the word gold. I'm saying it now. It's uncomfortable. It's making me uncomfortable telling you, but I let everyone know that word upsets me. I had to make the choice of either A, respecting that, right? B, disregarding that ridiculous request, but it's not ridiculous to you.
Mm-hmm.
Or C, not hang out with you. Right? But you communicated your feelings beforehand. And I have to say, am I able to invest into this relationship knowing that the word gold is going to offend you? Right?
How often does that word come up? I mean, any of the words I'm talking about, how often do they come up?
Well, what if
Like,
gold is a part of my life? Like, I
right.
wear gold, I buy gold, I distribute gold. I'm a gold salesperson. I'm an expert in gold, right? What if that happens? I know that we can't be friends, right? And that's okay, but that's okay. But if you get offended because I don't want to be friends with you because I can't, I have to, well, you should respect the fact that that's an offensive word. And it's like, but it's offensive to you, but it's my livelihood to me.
Yeah, I kind of think, and I think I'm offended by the word gaslighting. I think that triggers me. I get triggered by people saying they're being gaslit.
Well, most people don't know what the word gaslit even means.
People should either not know what it means at all so that it never gets used, or or have a better idea of what they're meaning by it.
Well, like, if you feel something, no, let's say I see you not doing something and you're telling me you're doing it. And I say, "But you're not doing it." People would consider me the gaslighter because you feel some way and I'm telling you what you feel is not true, so I'm changing your reality. But if I am physically seeing you not do the thing, and the result of what should happen after you do the thing is not proved, I am observing the truth. You are feeling the cognitive dissonance, which is, I believe what is true, but it's not. I am not gaslighting you.
Right.
However, if you argue that I am making it up, and you're like, "I am doing the thing I told you I am doing," and I go, "Show me the proof," and you go, "Well, the proof is in my head because I've been thinking about it."
Right.
I'd be like, "But the proof is based on what we agreed the results would be, which is not what you're using as the evidence." So,
I feel like the simple accusation that someone would say, if someone tells me I'm gaslighting them in any way, no one's ever going to go, hey, it could be believed in my own brain maybe that you might be, what you're doing right now could be considered gaslighting. It's not. It's never that. It's that's gaslighting. You're gaslighting me. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, you're throwing accusations. That's gaslighting right there.
When it comes to communication, though, how I feel and what is happening are not the same thing. They may at times collide. How I feel might be what is happening. Like if I feel you are insulting me and it turns out you are choosing to insult me, that could happen. However, if I feel you're insulting me and you tell me you are not insulting me, I have to understand that my perception is one thing and your perception is another. And that's okay too. Like the black and white of it, with no gray area, that's where it becomes just convoluted and invalid with communication. I've dealt with people in my past. I write people off now if if their communication skills are crap, or if I tell them, "Hey, you don't care about this thing," and they go, "Yes, I do," and then I go, "If you cared about it, right? Wouldn't you respect the agreement that we came up with and not deny it?" And they're like, "What do you mean?" I go, "Well, you said you would make this priority, and you're making these other things priority." "No, I'm not." "What do you mean?" "Well, I care about these things." "I understand you care about these things, but I'm saying you don't care about this thing as much as those things because it's not a priority." "It is a priority." "Well, what would you consider priority?" "I think we're just arguing semantics now." "No, priority is priority. It's the
Your
thing you put.
actions,
Yeah, it's
your
the thing
effort.
you do the most,
Right.
right? You when you have time, you choose that as the priority. I have time, let me work on this. But if you're always choosing the other things and the one thing that you said was priority is not being done, you do not care about this thing as you had agreed to and or as much as the other stuff. And that's where it gets really ridiculous because they'll be like, "You can't tell me how I feel." And I go, "You know what? I'm not telling you how you feel. I'm telling you that your actions are showing me you don't care. So I'm telling you how I am seeing the situation and I'm trying to have a conversation about it. And for me to believe that you care about it, you need to change your behavior for this. If you're not comfortable with changing your behavior, I'm okay with disregarding this relationship, this situation."
The value of you to me has decreased a lot, and I need to go
Yeah.
find a better cast for the movie that is my life.
Yeah. I need to
I need to
remove
recast
you.
the role of you in my
Yeah.
life
Well, the
to
worst is
somebody more
when you're
deserving.
you're friends with somebody and you're privy to their poor behavior, but you accept it because they're your friends. But then once you start realizing they're doing that behavior to you, you're like, "All right, I'm not going to accept this." Like when someone's a liar and they're lying to other people or they're hiding or being sneaky or being and then like you're like, "Well, are they being honest with me then?" And then you catch one lie or you catch one
Mhm.
sneaky behavior and you start noticing things and you're like, "Oh, they're a liar." And then you tell them, "We can't be friends because you're a liar." And they go, "I am not a liar." And I go, "But you lie to me." "Yeah, but that doesn't make me a liar." I go, "That absolutely makes you a liar. You are a liar." "Yeah, but lying doesn't make a person a liar." And I go, "How many lies does it take to make a person a liar?" "I
It's
don't
a
know.
it's a
Probably
tootsie
have to
pop.
be consistent behavior." I go, "But you're always lying to me." "I don't always lie to me." "You consistently lie to me." I don't mean you everything out of your mouth is a lie. I'm
Mhm.
just saying the majority has been lies to the point where I don't believe you. Therefore, you are a liar. "Well, just because you think I'm a liar doesn't make me a liar." "No, you lying makes you a liar." And you can't have that. If you're having that conversation with somebody in your life, you got to cut them out of your life. You shouldn't have to try to prove to somebody that they are what you feel they are. You just like if I go to you and I go, "Corey, you've done a couple of things that make me feel you're a liar. And then you go, oh, well, what am I doing that makes you feel I'm a liar? Well, I asked you about this thing and you told me, and then the evidence came back that it was not true. And it's like, well, maybe I was just misinformed. And I go, all right, that's one incident then, maybe. But 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're always misinformed. You're either lying
Or you're stupid.
or you're stupid. And I can't deal with either one of those. I'm not dealing with stupid, and I'm not dealing with lying. Because if you're always misinformed, it means that you're choosing to believe that you are guaranteeing yourself that you understand the information and you refuse to ask for help. I don't need clarification. I heard you, but you were misinformed. Yeah, well, that you're a bad communicator.
Right. So it's always spinning that accountability wheel, and it's landing on everybody but you. Keep on spinning it. Keep on spinning it.
Yeah. But when you meet somebody that had a child with somebody and they won't tell people that could help them or their family, and they abandon the kid in another country, and and you're like, how can I trust this person at all? And then you're just like, this person's a terrible human being.
Yeah, dude. If you can,
even if the situation, let's say the situation is they're in an abusive relationship, and you feel that person's abusive, why would you want your child to be stuck with them? But more importantly, when you realized, hey, the person saying that person is abusive and has all these bad traits, and you're like, but you have the traits that you're saying that person has.
It's also like,
plus you're a liar.
Like starting off a relationship with somebody who is cheating on someone to be with you.
Oh yeah, that's always
what's making you think? What's going to make you think that they're not going to do the exact same thing to you?
Yeah. This is why I'm poly. Well, like, you want to be with someone else? Just tell me. I don't care.
This is not the exact same example, but a few years ago, this guy that I was friends with, his wife left him, and like in a real shitty way. But a few years prior to that, she had completely ditched her 15-year-old son and like cut him off in his. I'm like, you think she was going to do that to him and not do that to you? You think you're more special than someone
a kid?
She birthed?
Yeah. Yeah. If you're not being good to your kid, you're not being good to people you love.
You're lying to yourself, buddy.
Yeah. However, we're not parents. We don't know what it's like.
No, I have no idea. I can't claim to know what it's like to be a parent. I mean, I watched Hassan Minaj's new special on Netflix yesterday, and when he talked about his kid being born, I might have choked a little happy bump down here because I was like, this sounds really nice.
Yeah.
Happy nice for you, but not jealous of you.
When people tell me they're pregnant and they're happy, I'm just like, good luck. I'm so happy for you. And then they're like, my child's adorable. And you're like, your child is not. Your child is ugly.
I bet you think that.
Yeah. Listen, it is 2:45 Eastern Standard Time.
It is.
I have a 3:15, so we have to wrap up.
Wrapping it up for real this time.
Yeah, so I can.
Okay.
I have
two quick things: hot dog and a handshake, and then right off into the sunset. Okay. On the record things that you'd like to ask or say to me.
On the record things?
Yeah.
Besides prison, what keeps you from committing real laws? What keeps you from breaking serious laws? Besides prison, what keeps you from breaking serious laws?
Two things. Mm-hmm. One, conscience. Like living with that shit on my conscience, I have a hard time with that. Two, being a role model. I want to make sure I'm being a good example. So I can't commit big, gross crimes and expect the people around me to not see that and think that I've made it okay for them to do that too.
Okay.
Or fans or kids or whoever is following anything I'm doing, I'd want to serve as a good role model or example to.
All right. Okay. Okay.
I'd say.
All right.
What about you?
Me?
Yeah.
Who says I don't commit crime?
You just assumed that I didn't. So
Oh, well, you're a good guy. I don't serious crimes. I haven't had the urge or need to break the crimes. However, I would break serious crimes if I had the need to. For example, I would kill somebody to protect myself or others. Uh, I would hunt someone down and skin them alive for raping someone. A child, I would cut their legs. Like I would torture them.
it's all
It's all relative.
circumstantial. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
all
yeah,
relative
yeah.
to.
But what keeps me out from doing it is I don't have a urgency or a need. I would steal to survive for food. If I had people that were like freezing around me, I would happily try to steal clothes for them. If we were living on the street, circumstances would guarantee action from me. However, I am not in the urgency of need, so that's what keeps me from breaking the law. Also, I don't think people should be killed because going back to your religious thought, I think that's a gift, going to the next life. That's the release, that's the freedom.
Yeah, you've gifted them.
Yeah, well, you did. You gave them. Well, imagine the Bible was real
Oh, you
and
know what?
heaven
Now
was
that you've
real.
said that, I feel fine with killing somebody. I had a problem with it before, but now it's like I'm giving them a little reward.
Well, think about it. If paradise existed, if somebody believed paradise existed, why wouldn't you want to die? Now, according to the books, you're not allowed to kill yourself because it's a mortal sin. But if someone killed you, I go to fucking heaven. Like, who cares? Right? But everyone's like, no, 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 don't kill me. I love it here. No, you don't. You got to pay taxes. Oh, yeah. I got to, I got to make money and pay taxes. You are a speck on a marble in a galaxy that's a part of something much bigger than you'll ever expect. And you're worried about taxes? Okay. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell me.
That's a pretty major. It's a pretty major one. You're a speck on a marble.
Yeah. In a galaxy that is a part of, so like, yeah, I think it's a gift to kill, to die. It's a gift. It's sorrowful. You'll miss people. I'm sad to see people go. I lost both my parents like in a 6-month period. So like like I have all that. But what I'm saying is I don't think they're in a bad. I think they're a part of, what's next. So it's beautiful. But anyway,
that must have been very hard for you.
It's still hard. It just happened.
Yes, it must still be very hard for you.
Yeah.
To have gone through that loss so quick.
Yeah,
I mean, those losses alone are huge, but so quickly. Man.
Yeah, no one wants to throw a baseball bat at me anymore. I mean, a ball. What is it? I forget how it works.
No one wants to throw a baseball at you.
No, the ball. Like play catch with me.
No one wants to play catch with you anymore.
Yeah,
then they might die.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Catch this COVID.
Time capsule, audio time capsule segment we always do, and we're starting to wrap it up. What I'll do is I'll say this stuff is outliving us, right? So this is living on forever. Let's say 20 years from now, in 2042, the people who love you the most stumble across this audio, stumble across this recording of you and I having this conversation, speaking directly to them from a timestamp in 2022. What words are you saying to them to help them to be a better version of themselves?
Everything.
You're speaking directly to the future people.
Yeah. So listen, in the year 2000. For those listening, remember, all actions must first stem from purpose. For action without purpose has no meaning. And what we do should have meaning. Even if our time here is limited, it should leak on to the next generations. So do with purpose to grow not exist?
That was the best one anyone's ever given me for that time stamp.
I kind of want to watch your other episodes here with this. Hot dogs are going to be the thing of the future, and I just want you to confirm that with this.
Hypothetically, I've gifted you this show. So this is the way we're wrapping up. This is the final thing. Hypothetically, I've gifted you this show. This has been the first pilot episode of your show, Evolving with Thomas J. Bellezza. In Jerry Springer's final thought type of way, do you get the most important takeaways and wrap this thing up in a pretty bow?
What? Oh, how would I end the show?
Like Jerry Springer's final thought.
Oh,
for your new podcast.
All right. Corey, you are not the father.
Yes, that's correct.
How would I end it? I guess the same way I end my shows. Keep developing the right mindset. Do you have what it takes to make a right left here? Be different. Think outside the box. Maybe bring your dreams to reality. Take action. Depending on what brand I'm working, I believe that it's always about inward out to help others. Put the oxygen on your face, and then look to your left and your right, and do right by others as you wish to have done to you. Yeah.
Do you do any impressions?
Well, I do Christopher Walken a little bit. It's nice. I do a couple. I told you, Gollum. Gollum is always going to be one of my precious examples. Stupid.
The way we cut it and end the stream is normally I'll ask you to say the catchphrase of the show, which is "Be fun, have safe, keep evolving" in your best impression.
Be fun, be safe, and keep evolving.
Thanks so much, man. Tom, it's a blast to hanging with you, man. I hope we get to hang out in person again soon.
Well, if I am ever in Jersey or you're ever in Ohio or we ever find ourselves in New York on set again.
Yes, we must.
I definitely want to see you wrestle one day, so that's going to happen.
I can't wait. Yeah, man, that'll be a blast.
Yeah,
I got to go get booked in Ohio now.
See, there you go. I'll introduce you to my friend. He works for WWE now.
Yeah, I know. You introduced me to him already.
Oh, I did. That's right.
Yeah.
And I just stopped talking to him. Why? Well, it was an opportunity.
When people get in that world, I think when people get in the bubble, the WWE bubble, they stop communicating with everybody they've ever communicated with.
I agree
because they're in that grind day in and day out.
You gotta be. It's 48-hour days.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So I don't take any of that stuff personally. When my friends make it big and never talk to me again, I don't take that personally.
You don't think it's nuts? Okay.
I think it's planters.
I planted that there. All right, listen, I have to go though. I have another session I have to get ready for.
All right, man. Take care of yourself.
But I appreciate you having me on. It was a blast and great ending questions. And remember, by the way, like I say to every guy I meet, I wouldn't make love to you, but I would let you clean my nuts. All right, so be good and
thanks, Tom. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye. All right, everybody. If this is your first time ever checking out Evolving with Corey Castle, check out all the other episodes. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit like, comment on the video below. If you're watching on YouTube, if you hit subscribe, I love you. Be fun, have safe. Actually, before I say that, I want to make sure I say, be kinder to yourself. Learn who you are. Give yourself some grace, because we're not gonna know the answers all the time right away. Not at all. It's a long journey. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Be fun. Have safe. Keep evolving.